to another vlog thing. And by vlog thing, I mean the things I do every, like, 3 months at this point in time. I'm so sorry that I've been gone for so long. There's a lot that's been going on. You may be wondering where I've been and what I've been doing and what's going on in my life. I'm also wondering that. If you, like, I honestly need help figuring it out. I've been a bit of a mess of a human. I've been a kind of a woman doing her best at a lot of things. But I've been doing a lot of grad school. That's been taking up most of my time, which is why the streams have been sporadic at best, and why I haven't been doing very many vlogs. I have a couple vlogs from July that I haven't even edited together. They just kind of sit there and haunt my dreams. So I'm going to try and get to those at some point. So grad school has been by far one of the best things that has happened to me and the worst simultaneously. The past 3 classes that I've had are boring in a fashion I never realized could be humanly possible. I've been having to read a lot of research articles. I don't know if you read a lot of research articles, but I'll tell you what they're like. They're essentially just like, here's an idea I had one time, and instead of telling you it in the 3 sentences that I could tell you it in, I'm gonna just write 400 pages on that. And I'm just like, this isn't Harry Potter, bitch. Can you just summarize that shit for me? I'd appreciate it. I also kind of disappeared. From the planet because I sort of had a relationship. I don't really know what it was. It was certainly not good in any way, shape, or form. And I feel like it made me realize some things. So really, honestly, it was good in its own right. It wasn't really a love, it was a lesson. And I've learned my lesson from it probably better than half the classes I'm taking right now. So I tend to think with my dick. And I know you're saying, Jess, you don't have one of those. How can you think with your dick? It's my metaphorical dick. It's my soul dick. I think with my soul dick. And that then turns me into in love Jess, who will make excuses for everything in the entire world. I will just love, like, everything that you do. I will become your biggest fan. Like, it doesn't matter how shit of a human you are. I will think you are the best. I will fucking think you're John Green. Like, randomly, you become John Green. And I'm just like, I love your work. I love everything you've done. Like, you could honestly kill a hobo in front of In Love Jess, and she'll just be fine with it. Like, he really puts his heart into the things that he does. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but all of my friends know this. I tend to just make excuses for people that should not be made. And I tend to focus on things that are really minuscule niceties in a person, and I'm like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. Like, it's fucking that I'm Indiana Jones and I'm having to go in there and find the Ark of the Covenant in your soul, then it's a problem. You know, I don't like Stephen King. I don't really like him. I think he's more typing rather than writing. I've never really liked Stephen King. I read Stephen King. I was just like, oh, this is your favorite book? That's the best. It's the best. That's how I read this book. This is actually his book. I am going to get this back to him. I'm determined. I'm really going to get back to him. I tried to get it back to him immediately after we stopped speaking, but then it just won't go away. It won't leave me. There kept being, like, excuses as to why I could not get this book back to him. It was basically sexually transmitted bad literature. I, like, woke up one day and it was just next to me and I was like, is there a cream for this? Like, I don't know what it is. It's harder to get rid of than herpes. I feel like, because you just go to a doctor, right? And you just say, oh, I got herpes. And they give you some shit for that. This, you can't. You could, I could show up. I do have health insurance now. So I could just be like, yo, I think I got some Stephen King. Can you look at that? That's what the S stands for in STD. It's Stephen. It's Stephen transmitted disease. But anyway, so this happened to me. I read Stephen King for the first time and finished it. I'd started The Shining and I never finished it. So that was a thing. That was a thing that happened. I also realized that I might let the crazy show a little bit too early. 'Cause I'm like, I understand that I have a bundle of neuroses that's just like, it's like a loot crate. It's like a loot crate of just fucking crazy. Like, it's just like you open it up and you're just like, oh, well, here's some anxiety, and here's some like weird shit that she thinks is funny. Oh, and here's just puns, and then it just it blows up in your face, and it's just all dad jokes. And I'm sorry about that. Like, I really, really, really want to get better at it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. Where I realized we were in his car at one point, and I think this is when it just was like, no, this is not gonna work. So we're driving, and I look in his back seat, and he's got this picture. It was drawn of Boba Fett from the Star Wars movies, and I asked about it, and he said that he was at the Denny's the night before, and this man, who was the chef, decided to give him this Boba Fett drawing. He drew it for him. Like, this random stranger drew him a picture. And I was like, that's really cool. And I grabbed it and I pulled it up, and I was like, does it have his number on it too? Because it sounds like he liked you. And I turned it around, and on the back it was just a menu, and it said s'more to love. It was like the s'mores thing. And I had this immediate thought. I was like, oh my god, you should go to all the Denny's and have all the chefs draw you different Star Wars characters, and then you should frame this one, and then you should frame all the others, and then you should put them up on your walls, and then have just like when people come over, it's like, this is an original Steve, and this is an original Barry, because the guy had actually written his name, and it was Barry, and I was like, you have an original Barry, like, this is the best day ever. If that didn't terrify him, I was like, you should probably go to the Waffle Houses, get those chefs to draw you things, and then have like a competing art gallery of just like 24-hour diners that, you know, diner chefs. And I was like, in my head, that sounded like an amazing idea that was both beautiful and poetic. On the outside, I think I basically sound like that one lady with the tinfoil hat that talks about aliens. She thinks it's a great idea. She's clearly convinced that there are aliens coming down, and that's an issue. Nobody else thinks it's a good idea. No one else thinks it's a good idea to put the tinfoil hat on. But I thought it was. I just don't look good in silver. That's essentially the only difference. Also, side note, don't sleep with people and then have to take them with you on your walk of shame. That happened. Because I had to be driven home afterwards. That's awkward. It's real awkward. Because then they're with you. And you would think company would be nice, because walks with company are great. Walks of shame with company, not so much. It's a little weird. It's a little awkward. So we decided we would try to be friends. We were like, let's be friends. And by friends, I mean I'm just going to text you randomly, Jess, and bitch about things. And I was like, that sounds great! That's like the best idea ever. You should text me a lot and complain about your day, and I'll say nice things to you, because that's what I do. It was not great. Like, again, I really feel like I don't really understand what great is. I'm still working on that. So I basically was like, we should not do this anymore. Despite the fact that I love to keep tabs on people that have seen me naked. Like, I really enjoy knowing what you're continuing to do after that point. I just don't think it's really a good idea for us to do this anymore. And so I went into a sadness that was both infinite and uncalled for. And so I listened so whenever I have any sort of like lost love, be it real or imagined, I think that in my brain the best idea is to Sheeran the sadness out. I'm just like, I'm gonna find every Ed Sheeran song that even remotely justifies what I'm feeling, and I'm gonna blast that to like 11. Like, I'm gonna Spinal Tap that Sheeran, and I'm gonna sit there and I'm going to just think about things, because that would be good for me, right? That's perfect. But no. That's like tequila. Sheeran is a mascara thinner. He doesn't help you. Like, you think that he helps you. He doesn't help you. He makes it worse. Sheeraning the sadness out is literally the worst idea I've ever had. Other than dating this dude. And it is like tequila. At the very beginning of the night, you're like, this is great. I want to hear more Bloodstream. And then by the end of Bloodstream, you're just weeping openly about some random shit. Like, I don't even know. It's like you saw a cat gif, and suddenly That's it. You're crying. And you're like, why am I crying about a cat fitting into a box? Like, I don't even understand anymore. Like, now everything reminds me of this weird shit, and I'm like making some metaphor for it. Like, this cat is trying to fit in this box, and it was like me trying to work things out. It like random. Like, my brain just starts connecting things that don't make sense. So like, that's done, and I don't worry about it anymore. I'm good. Like, I feel really good. Honestly, that is one of the funniest, most fucked up experiences of my life. It is a walk of shame to remember. And that's all that it is. Let's chalk that one up to the memoir. One of the things he said to me was that he doesn't like getting out of his comfort zone, as he broke up with me. And I just thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to ever sit somewhere and think that I sat in my comfort zone my entire life. I don't want to do it. I don't want to ever think that I wasted things or that I have things that I regret. Because that's the biggest deal in life, is making sure that you're happy with who you are and what you are doing. And I think that honestly, that's what I was meant to be taught by this. Was the fact that sometimes giving people second chances is not a good idea. Respect yourself and make sure that you're happy with where you are more than anything, because then the rest won't matter, because you'll be happy. Anyway, I don't want to keep you here, like, with me just rambling. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful life. I will see you hopefully again soon. I'll definitely see you on the streams, and I'm hoping to do these more often. So, cheers.